Good afternoon. Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to the Thinkly community for higher education and careers. Our community connects students, professionals, and educators to help learn, grow, and achieve their goal. Here you will find a lot of content and wealth of resources and advice on topics like what are the different career opportunities, choosing a major, building profile, admissions to global top universities, etc. And Thinkly is a platform that curates us a lot of thought leadership, great content from a lot of world renowned uh, content magazines like Harvard Business Review, MIT Sloan, Atlantic, etc. And it is also a platform for many business leaders, journalists, and coaches. They are the regular feature of Thinkly platform. And today we have one such personality with us. My name is Vijay Samavane, and I am the higher education consultant and the host at Thinkly Higher Education and Career Community. I assist students to get into world's top 100 universities with scholarship. There was a time when taxation and regulatory framework was very complex. AI, that is artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation, or other disruptive technologies were unheard of. But now we all know that we are in the era of GST and slowly moving towards maybe a transaction tax. AI, that is artificial intelligence, is already knocking our doors and has started disrupting the way we do business, the way we live. Things are changing. And therefore, we also need to have a clear understanding as to how this landscape is changing and how we need to uh, build our career in this particular space, in the changing space. And I'm really happy to present you Digambar Pednekar. Digambar is a chartered accountant, company secretary, cost accountant, LLB, and MCOM. He holds 4 professional qualifications, and he was also 48th rank holder all over India for the final examinations of company secretary. He holds a diploma in IND-AS conducted by the Institute of Chartered Accountancy of India. He worked with Ernst & Young, which is the top consulting firm in US, in India, as well as with PwC and Grant Thornton. His key competencies include deep and extensive knowledge of banks, NBFCs, that is non-banking financial corporations, and financial services sector. His hobbies are running, networking, public speaking, and delivering training to the members of ICAI, okay, and the other professional platforms. So I'm really happy to have Digambar with us today. So Digambar, thank you very much and welcome to Thinkly community for higher education and career.
Thank you, Vijayji, for having me on this session.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I'm more
It's
willing to have this opportunity for our audience.
yes, it's really pleasure, Digambar. So Digambar, let me ask you with almost like a default question for our podcast that what motivated you to take up CA as a profession? I mean, when you decided that you want to be a chartered accountant, whether was it happen during your undergraduation year, does it happen prior to that, or did you took a call after your graduation? So please give us a little idea about it.
You rightly mentioned that for your podcast, this is the standard question to begin with. And for me, this is a ceremonial question. Wherever I go, this is the first question I'm being asked. What is that made you to go for CA education? And to be honest, Vijay sir, that there was no motivation. Generally, people of that age, when you pass out 12th standard and you don't have that practical experience. You are always counting on your peers, your family, your friends, or who you are grown up looking at. maybe your cousins. So in my case, I have actually come across my colleagues, my college friends, my school friends who are having same academics, same ranking. They decided, let's go ahead with the CA because there is a bright future, there are opportunity, and it is a way of you serve the community, you serve the country, you serve the citizen of India. And with that motive, me and my friends, we started. And I'm privileged to have such a huge fraternity, working for such huge fraternity, working towards country's growth. We are the pioneer, we are the people, we are the the fraternity who help country to collect the revenue, and that revenue is being used for the development of the our country. So that is what motivated me. There is a public interest, there is a there is a intention, there is a urge to serve the community, and there we are.
Very well said. Very well said. So nowadays, let me ask you, Digambar, that nowadays you can pursue chartered accountancy right after 12th, and there is also an option to pursue chartered accountancy post graduation. So, according to you, which way can give you better advantage?
To look at this, there are this question is divided into two parts. I would like to answer in a two different way. Uh, According to me, since I have done it after 12th standard, I believe there is an opportunity that until you clear your graduation, you have one degree in your hand. So you don't have to actually spare a separate uh, time span of 3 years after your graduations. In fact, if you utilize the time you have after 12th standard, after graduation, you can actually go for another higher degree or higher education. Nowadays, I have seen people, or I have come across students who complete their CA education right after their, during the graduation time, and after they go for higher education. Not only in India's top university, but they go abroad. Because once you have that practical experience of 3 years of articleship, and you have domain knowledge of taxation, accounting, and finance management, it is easier for you to apply for top 10 universities across the globe. Even the chartered accountant are considered to be expertise, and the chances of being shortlisted by those top universities are pretty high. The odds of getting admissions are pretty high. So
Oh,
according
okay.
to me, if you allow me, I believe the student should utilize their time after 12th standard, and they should try to complete it off.
Okay, okay. So that's your expert advice that they must explore this space during undergraduation time. Yeah. Okay. But at the same time, my observation has been that yes, many students with a great enthusiasm they start their journey after 12th, but most of them couldn't make it. So, according to you, what should be the preparation? I mean, what need to be the strategy, to be a successful or become a successful chartered accountant? What kind of precautions or study strategies one need to adopt, right?
So there is no secret sauce for this. For example, if I to put the question like, if a person would like to have a very muscular physics, or would like to have abs on their stomach, what is that he would have to do? Probably he would have the discipline in terms of workout, in terms of diet. Likewise, in our profession, the secret sauce, or the name of the game is discipline. You have to take a dedicated time for studies, and most importantly, you need to have a mentor. I am sure you must have hundreds of students, and you have helped them to go for higher education. Likewise, in our profession, if they want to have the degree at the right time without wasting a single year, they have to go through the articleship. They have to find a principal or mentor who could help them each year, step by step, how they can study, how you can get the practical knowledge. If they have a good principal or the mentor, 100% that student will get clear within the time. There are very exceptions that student may get indisciplined, or he changes his mind, and then probably he will end up spending more years to complete the education. However, having said that, if they find a good mentor like you, or the principal, they will definitely clear the exam.
Oh, good. I mean, I think that's very critical advice. You say that discipline is more critical because it's a very challenging curriculum. Yeah, because your I mean outcome is always in one a single or maybe max 12 13% of the outcome of the exam. Yeah, so yeah, great. Now in your case, I mean, while I was going through your profile, uh, you have four professional qualifications, that you're a chartered accountant, company secretary, even cost accountant, LLB, and of course, post graduation in commerce. Yeah. So, what was your thought process behind acquiring so many qualifications, right? And what strategic advantage it has created for you while you were having your corporate job and now you're practicing your own? So how does this multiple degrees really has helped you? And would you also advise our audience to acquire such kind of professional qualification over a period of time? Please elaborate on this.
Surely, Vijay. So there was no strategy for me to have a multiple degree. My background, I come from very, the mediocre family background. Now, I don't have any family member who have done such a higher education. And since we come from that background, we are pretty hardworking. And I used to study in the libraries. These libraries were all chartered accountant, company secretary, LLB. They come and they study together. What I've noticed studying with them is that the CA itself is the top-notch difficult course. And when I look at the other one who are doing CS, ICW, LLB, I thought of myself that I'm pretty hardworking. I can, stretch two, three times of what others are doing. And with that intention, I thought, okay, let's do this degree simultaneously and let's see how it work out. Then I actually approach my mentor how I can go about this, how I can do this multiple degree, and they give me a lot of advice how to retain something in your brain without losing the major portion of what you are reading, how to do a speed writing, because you have to it's not only what you retain in your brain but how you perform at the exam, how to have those speed writing skills, how to complete the multiple pages or maximum number of pages, read out the maximum number of pages in the same span of time, and how to retain them simultaneously so that even after 5 weeks or 2 weeks, at least 20%, 30% will get diluted and 80% will retain for a longer amount of time. There are a lot of techniques. So that really helped me out to have those multiple degrees. And I advise my fellow members and student always have multiple degrees, because more degree you have the extra advantage over the others. In my times, I remember the result of CA final were 2%, 5%, or 10%. When I would go for interview and there are 10, 20 other candidates are sitting for the interview, I was standing out because of not only the CA degree, because I was having the multiple degrees. Along with that, I had a rank all over India. So that these degrees are really helped me out. Now, having said that, this was the era when I cleared 10 to 12 year back. Probably today, generally people go for MBA, not only in India, they go abroad, have the higher education. They go for FCA, CRN, CPA. Those are the, pretty renowned courses which are in demand right now. If somebody has to have the multiple degrees, they should evaluate those master degrees, especially if they can afford time permits, they should go abroad and have those higher education from those universities. They will definitely help them out if they are looking out for corporate career. If they are looking out for a practice here in India, they should go for degrees like company secretary, LLB, or cost accountant.
Okay. So you mean to say that this can make you well-rounded personality in or rather professional. And you also gave very, very important advice of speed reading and how do you retain, those techniques you mentioned about it. And yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to, when you approach such kind of competitive curriculums, it's very important that you need to read a lot. And even now, I guess, once you acquire that skill, even now when you're practicing, you're going through volumes and volumes of those tax laws and stuff like that, and I think that skill is very, very critical. I think this is very, very important, and I think students need to look for some kind of resources, where they can, train themselves for the speed reading and some kind of a technique wherein they can, how to retain that knowledge. It's very, very important. Yeah. Thank
And
you for that.
to be honest with you, till date, whoever I have mentored, they all have cleared their exam. None of them I have got a drop, or there is no instances that they have not cleared. Whoever I have mentored them, or I am a principal of those interns, they have cleared their exams.
Right, right, right. Good, good, good. Thank you. So, Digambar, let me take you back to your corporate era. You worked with EY in the US. You also work with them in India. You also worked with Price Waterhouse Cooper, and you also worked with Grant Thornton. Yeah. So, how was your perspective um, working with some of these big four consulting companies, especially if you compare with Indian operation vis-a-vis like overseas US experience? How this has helped you? This has made you more well-rounded kind of a professional. If you can just throw some light, and I'll also have one more follow-up question on this.
Definitely, Vijay sir. So I have, as you rightly read out my profile, I'm very much enthusiastic person. And one of the sport movie I have watched back then, and one of the dialogue, I cannot paraphrase it exactly, but if you want to be the best, you have to bring out the best. So it was a sports fighting movie, and the person says, if you really want to be the best in the sports, you have to bring out your best. So that is the whole objective of working with the companies like consulting firm like EY. You want to have a greater skill or better skill, you have to come out of your curve, then you have to work with the best in the countries. So with that objective, I joined EY, and I am privileged enough to have kind people working with them. They have really mentored me, and they give me opportunity not only work in India, they allow me to go to US. I spent some time over there, and that has actually changed the entire perspective of my career. After me coming from US, the things have completely changed. Where I was, struggling to grow at 10, 20%, all of a sudden my growth has quadruplicated. All of a sudden there were changes. I see people have started noticing me, not only in terms of communication, but in terms of deliverables, client facing, client interactions, dealing with the regulators. So I always recommend people, if they get opportunity, definitely they should have um, uh, the experience of different culture, different countries, and they should try to soak up their knowledge.
But at the same time, it is not so easy as we speak. Okay, and getting into such top consulting companies is a mammoth task. Okay, so I mean, I'm now coming to you to give us some kind of career tips or strategies, because it's everyone's dream, and especially if you're a CA, it's your dream to work with these big four. Yeah. So, what kind of an advice would you give to our audience as to how they need to prepare themselves? So, as you talked about, some soft skills, that has really helped you to grow. So what kind of preparation they need to do when they are in college, or maybe while they are pursuing their chartered accountancy?
Definitely, Vijay. If they want to have, the opportunities with a firm like EY, PwC, Grant Thornton, the most important thing is you should have a merits. When I say merits in terms of academics, how many attempts you take, what are the additional qualification you have, how you speak, how you communicate, and most importantly, you should have a well-groomed network of people, because you can connect with those consulting firms. Because the consulting firm is a huge firm. There are multiple multiple vertical, investment banking, taxation, accountancy, audit, and you name, they will have those services. So where you want to have a career, this is the most important aspect. You may apply through social media or the job portals, but you may not necessarily end up getting the job you have in your mind. So having a proper network, having a principal, having a mentor who could guide you basis your education, your background, where we should go and how we can approach, that will really help them. So according to me, I got the opportunity with EY through one of my colleague who was already working over there. So I give the entire credit. The first come is merits. The second most important thing is your network. How rich your network, how they are
Yes.
connected.
Right, right, right. So very again, very, very important advice is that your merit, that is your academic excellence, as to how fast you become a chartered accountant, what kind of rank you hold it, and of course is the networking. So you also need to. Can you guys give us some idea about the networking, like a college graduate or someone who's like graduating in his CA qualification? What kind of networking opportunities he need to look for, where he need to go and do networking?
So I was doing a CA course right after 12th standard, and since I have to manage my attendance in the college, I have to manage my classes. Same time, I have to manage my articleship. So I had very little scope, having a networking because I have to focus more. And then there was no awareness in terms of the networking. That networking has a huge power. So what the way I have developed networking is we have various courses like computer, we have a presentation skill, we have a computer skill. Then we used to participate in the various games and the team building events of those courses. And there we have actually developed a network because in those cases, see, if I am from the suburb of the Bombay, probably I will join the classes and the community based in the suburb. However, somebody is working, generally it is said that the people from the South Bombay or the dense community join the such top consulting firm. So these are the courses where we used to have the networking. We used to connect with them. We used to approach them. Okay, if any one of them is working for a big four, whether they can forward my CV to them or whether they can have a short interview for me. So I think this is through student forum. We can, because the people who are doing CA or who have done the CA, we have a restriction in terms of networking. However, such classes or tuitions or presentation skill gives us opportunity to have a networking.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, because see, networking is not taught in the college how to do a networking, right? That's the reason that I ask you that where these kids can go and and work around it. Yeah. So thank you for giving that advice. So let me kind of come back to the changing landscape of chartered accountancy. As we say that we are in the hookah world, right? Everything is changing. So we are in the era of automation. We are in the era of artificial intelligence, machine learning. There are regulatory changes. As I said, that we had so many taxes. Now we are just talking about one tax. Right now, maybe we are now hearing that slowly and steadily even GST will go, the transaction tax will come. At the same time, you also have a competition from those online accounting firms who offer uh, mm, services at a very, very competitive rate. You have fintech companies, right? So there's a lot which is moving at this point in time. So according to you, how this particular landscape is changing? How, I mean, if you are a chartered accountant currently, or you are aspiring chartered accountant, how you need to look at this changing scenario? What's your take on this?
So Sanjay, Vijay, there is no particular, there is no specific strategy, or because the country and the developments are evolving over a period of time. Things which were there back in 2012 or 15, or things which were there before lockdown were completely different, which they are right now. So the only the request to the professional or the student is they have to change with the time, change with the technology. If they don't If they don't change themselves, then the person sitting next door will be a competitor. For example, now not only so earlier the so we are operating in a commercial building. Generally, for us, the chartered accountant next door would be considered, it's not indeed a competitor, but would be considered. If a client come, probably he has the option of two or three. Now the top notch consulting firm who have come on the social media, who has the online presence, they are become the direct competitor of us. For example, earlier the Bania has a competitor who's a next Bania shop next to him.
Yeah.
Now the Tata, Reliance actually competing with them, having the online presence. Hope you're following what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Likewise, the online, even the chartered accountant sitting in the Raipur, or accountant sitting in the Raipur or Raebareli, or the Pune, he could be a direct competitors. So in here, the name of the game of this competition is you change, you adopt yourself, get those skill, get those software, get those AI embedded technology with you, and that will really boost you or uplift you in this process. And you have to actually step up. Don't think that what you have studied is good enough. You should not go ahead with this. Always try to step up with your colleagues or people in the fraternity, and that will definitely help.
Yeah, great. I think the takeaway is a step up. You used a very right word, step up, step up in everything, your skill sets, your knowledge, everything. Yeah. And I think embrace the change, or whatever is happening, rather than opposing it. Yeah. Okay. So you need to develop, need to have that kind of flexibility. Yeah. Very good. One of our audience has asked a question that she's a student. Anupama has asked this question. That she says that hello, I'm a student and wanted to check which is preferred now, is chartered accountancy or CFA. So can you just give us some clarity? I mean, is CA and CFA can be comparable as an apple to apple, or are they working in a different space? And what is the advantage of a CFA over a CA, or a CA over a CFA?
Yeah, definitely, Vijay. Since I have not done CFA, so probably I cannot answer. But yes, since I have done the CA, and after doing CA, doing any other course is not that big deal for me. And I have working with the EY. I have n number of my colleague who have done the CFA along with the CA. So the whom I have seen, they clear their CFA at a first attempt without losing any the time, is the chartered accountant who clears their CA along with the graduation till their TY BCom, and immediately after that, if they hop on the CFA course, so the probability of they clearing in next 2 years is pretty high. So you clear your CA till graduation, because for CFA, I think the eligibility is they have to have graduation completed.
No,
So the
nowadays, even after 12th, you can start the CFA. Yeah.
if you have developed the domain knowledge, finance domain knowledge through CA education, and simultaneously or after graduation, if you can hop on CFA, that will give you the flavor of 2 degrees. So
Correct, correct,
100% CA seems to be a difficult, because you have to go a rigorous training of articleship, and you have to actually manage your college classes and your education and extracurricular activity. CA is not only the academics. You have to actually work on your mental health, your emotional health, and you have to manage everything. It's a 360-degree course. Sometimes people think it is a too much technical when it comes to CA. No, to have that the clarity, have that stability, have that the patience, you have to have a mental strength as well.
Yeah, very important. Yes. And just to add what you said, I think, I mean, CA and CFA, in terms of your career objective, they are two different kind of a curriculum. Both are equally challenging and equally rigorous. CA is more on the accounting side, more on the finance side, corporate finance, and all that. Though, I mean, CA can also do whatever other functions which CFA does, but CFA is, I think, according to me, is more inclined towards the investment side of it, more on the wealth side of it. In case if you want to be a fund manager, investment banker, CFA can really help you. Though yes, as a CA, you can also become an investment banker. But there is like some so clear cut objective. Okay, both the courses has. Yeah.
You,
Okay.
you,
So
you're
uh,
absolutely right. I was working with a department called mergers and acquisition. That was investment banking.
Yeah.
And there I have come across to have the growth in that particular investment banking field, you have to have CFA knowledge, because the CFA gives you the flavor, which is not exactly, but you get the extended knowledge, which may not blend into a CA curriculum. So yes, if a candidate would like to have investment banking or the research or acquisition profile, definitely they should have to have a CF as a extra degree,
Yeah. Correct.
the
Correct.
CA
Correct.
or MBA.
Correct. Correct. And again, I mean, again, ultimately, what kind of roles you would like to take? If it is a more on the front side or the back end side, again, your skill set will vary, right? Okay, great. So nowadays, CAs are looking at corporate as a great opportunity, and you yourself has also worked with corporate. Yeah. So I mean, post CA, what are the career opportunities? Because you mentioned about investment banking, you also mentioned about taxation and accounting and all that. If you can just give us some kind of an idea as to as a CA and I join a corporate, and so what kind of job opportunities or job roles can I have over a period of time?
So it is again area of interest. If somebody would like to have, if they have a lineage of say, business, so probably a chartered accountant would like to have a practice. But person like me who doesn't have any background of business, I would prefer a corporate job, because when you work with a top-notch consulting firm, you get that level of polishing with you. After 2 years working with a top-notch consultancy, you become such a polished person which you couldn't do otherwise, because they impart a world class training, world class the personality, presentation skill, they actually groom you. So that is the advantage when you work with a top notch consulting firm. Having said that, now the another question, what went or what made you to switch from the corporate job to a, uh
Private
profession
practice.
practice?
Yeah.
So in this modern Western world, nothing is hidden. When you work with a top-notch consulting firm, definitely they pay you a good. You have everything top-notch trainings, but it comes with the cost.
Yeah.
The cost here is the time you spare for your family, social, your personal health. You know, so sometimes I have noticed uh, that people try to balance their work life balance, and somewhere they they fall apart either at their social life or their professional life. So that is the exact reason, in order to match this work life balance, and since we have right now we have a family practice, so I decided to move on and join a family practice.
Okay. Great.
But I
Great.
recommend student to, if they get the opportunity, at least for 2 years, work with the best out of best consulting firm. It's not only the big four. There are many consulting firm. If they can work with them for 2 years and get the world class trainings through them, it will be a career changing or life changing scenario for them.
Good. Good. Yeah. So nowadays, I think we. I mean, I have seen that many students are also now taking up international qualifications. As we talked about CFA, okay, people are also talking about now FRM. They are talking about CPA. They are talking about ACCA. So, how these international additional or other international professional qualification can help your career? I mean, do you recommend? And again, so having those qualifications, what kind of career opportunities one can create for themselves?
Yes, Vijay. So, as we rightly mentioned, now you are not competing with your neighbor or the firm next door, but you are actually competing with the globally renowned firms. So the no knowledge, no qualification is ever wasted. Better knowledge you have, better degree you have, definitely you will stand out and you will have the better perspective. If today's time the competition and the social media awareness is so high, I recommend people given an opportunity, if possible for them financially as well as, in terms of time frame, if they can see the higher degrees, not only from even India has a top-notch university colleges, but if they have opportunity to have a course outside India and again come back with such cross-culture knowledge and the expertise outside India to development of the our country, I always recommend to have, those qualification. Go outside, learn their culture, learn how the developed countries are, boosting their economy. Bring that knowledge to our country and serve our country.
Yes, very
So
true, very true, very true. I mean, yes, I can vouch for it. So many of our students who have gone and they are currently studying in these top universities are getting amazing opportunities as internships and etc. One of our students who's doing public policy at Columbia, she's now currently working with I think White House. Is what the last information I got. One of our student who's studying physics also is supposed to have internship with United Nations. So you talked about the diversity, cross culture. Those learnings, are very very critical for your, overall growth of your career. Okay, great. Okay, so let me ask you one question. Uh, See, what we get to hear these days is that these disruptive technologies like AI, automation, machine learning, data science is really automating the accounting practices. Now, regulatory reforms are moving in a different directions. So there's a likelihood that accounting practice will go down. So under such scenario, if you're a chartered accountant or if you're an aspiring chartered accountant, where you need to focus?
So, Vijay sir, the things have already changed. Even the nowadays, what accounting we do is already automated. Even the auto audit procedure are automated. So nothing is earlier. We would do a physical accounting because the client would have the physical accounting system. They will have the papers. They will have the manual entries. Now our client has already moved on to technology. They have the SAP, Oracle, world class, the softwares there you have to just upload the statement, invoices, or the bank statement, everything get populated. So we have already on the verge of, at least in metro cities, we are already on the verge of transformation, and we are already there on technology. Now, this is beyond the technology. AI has changed even the technology the aspect. They has taken this whole accounting field altogether to a different level. Different analysis, different comparison, different statistics has come. So the way we would look at accounting and auditing has completely changed. AI has completely disrupted. Now the another 2 years will be, we will be either on this side of the fences or will be either in or out. We cannot stay on the fences. This situation has come. Either we uplift ourselves and go that side, or there is no option to remain at this side safely.
Yeah, correct. So you also acknowledge that. So my question to you is that so under such circumstances, because most of the chartered accountants look for accounting or a taxation as a practice, right? So if they are not going to do much on that side, where they need to concentrate more on? Is it a corporate finance? Is it maybe like analytics, as you rightly pointed out? Yeah, because nowadays we are talking about a lot of business intelligence. Yeah, how your data is talking to you, and therefore you kind of create strategies so, or risk management, that's also big area. Um, how what should be their focus? Again, I'm sure you would say that this yes interest also will matter in that case. But overall, like what is the next big thing in the field of accounting?
If you ask me nowadays people are, you know, the way they look at things and the way our country is, moving towards the development. The startup has come, the fund, lot of private equities and AI have come in the picture. the way I look at the students are more motivated or influenced towards investment banking, as you rightly mentioned, risk management. When you have courses like FRM, CFA, the profile like risk management, valuations, mergers and acquisitions, treasury management. These are some of the,
Okay.
some of the things they should look at along with the conventional practice, because nowadays this is a ask of all entrepreneur to have a treasury management, liquidity management, forming various, the analysis, research, seeing what their contemporaneous players in their circle are doing, get that knowledge, see the cross border transactions, try to implement for their company. So for me, the next big thing is the investment banking, research, valuations, startup, treasury management.
Okay. Good. 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 So let me ask you a little funny question. But uh, so can people from non-accounting background enter accounting space, or can they do chartered accountancy as someone who's in the technology field and can pursue a chartered accountancy after 10 years? Will that be very easy, difficult, tough? Uh, or will that be that kind of a call in your career change? Will that be a right call?
100%. There is no restriction that the person with the science background or any other background cannot do. He can do. And according to me, looking at as a C as a profession, or reaching at this stage where technology is overpowering everything else. So according to me, if someone has a technology as a background, if they get into this field, probably they will go twice as we could grow over a period of time, because the technology has disrupted the conventional practice together altogether. So I foresee, if you coming from a different dynamics, different knowledge, and coming to our profession, definitely it's going to add value.
Okay, good. So it's a go from your side. Okay, good. So, well, Digambar, I mean, we just go on talking, but we also have a sort of a time constraint. So, before we conclude, I just wanted to ask you a sort of a last question, and seek your advice or your kind of an wisdom as to what is your parting advice to the aspiring students or people who have just entered this particular space. Can you just give them some kind of an advice so that they become very successful, starting with student and then maybe the young professionals?
So my wisdom, or my the answer to all the audience of students who are watching this webinar is to be a discipline. Not only work on your academical aspect, but work on your physical aspect. Take care of your eyes, health, your family members. Have the 360-degree, all have the balances in all seven parameters of your life. Don't only focus on education. Definitely, if you have balance on other aspect, 100% you will succeed in your academics, provided you are disciplined, completing your academics, attending classes, or doing self studies. So my advice to you all is have balances in all seven major aspect of your life, which is social, physical, mental, and most importantly academic. And 100% you will succeed, not only in having one single degree, but having a multiple degrees.
And what would be your advice to the young professional who just maybe entered the domain?
If you have a setup of your own business, then you don't have to, you don't have to start from the scratch. But if you don't, find a good mentor, find a good principal, find a good company, consulting firm, where you can, that company invest in you in terms of your development. And after 2 years, maybe you can think of, if you are keen to have your own practice, you can think of starting your own practice. Otherwise, working with a top consulting firm or top companies and developing yourself has no value. Has There is no investment than this.
Okay, so good. So thank you so much, Dimber, once again, and thank you for your time. I know you're a busy person, and I've been after you for a long, and I wanted you to come here and share your experience with our audience. And So again, I'm really grateful and truly appreciate. So thank you for coming and joining us on Thinkly Community for Higher Education and Career. And we are so grateful. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Vijay sir, and thank you, Thinkly community, for having such a wonderful session for students, for upliftment of those fraternity. And for me, this is a overwhelming opportunity and the experience for me to help our community. Thank you so much, Vijay sir, for having me
Perfect,
on.
perfect, perfect, perfect. So, audience, thank you so much for joining us, and see you next Saturday. Maybe this time, because of Digambar's schedule, we have postponed our session at 1:30, but next Saturday, hopefully we'll join at 12:30 and hope to see you all and your support, your continued support. Thank you, Thinkly. Thank you, Sylvan. Thank you, everyone, for making this podcast success. And thank you, Digambar, once again. See you all and have a great weekend.
Likewise, have a wonderful, delightful weekend over.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes. Thank you.